A week can be a long time in football. If you're a Celtic fan, however, you'd have been forgiven for not wanting it to end. After winning a tough Glasgow derby against Partick Thistle, the Scottish champions welcomed Astana to Celtic Park for their crucial Champions League playoff first leg. Brendan Rodgers' side faced the Kazakhstani champions in the previous round of the competition last season, in which Celtic scraped through with a late Moussa Dembele penalty. So it was easy to see why fans were pessimistic and erring on the side of caution. What was to follow was one of those magical "I was there" nights at Celtic Park. Astana started the game pressing high, however, with no real threat, largely due to the back four being well drilled. The breakthrough came just after the half-hour mark when Tom Rogic danced his way through the defence, and almost in a repeat of his treble-winning cup final goal, the big Aussie lifted the ball over Alexander Mokin and Evgeny Postnikov turned the ball into his own net. 10 minutes later and the relief spread around the stadium as a Rogic misplaced pass was intercepted and deflected through for Scott Sinclair, who darted into the box and found the back of the net. On the hour mark came a moment of controversy as Tom Rogic and Yuri Logvinenko had a sickening clash of heads. Both went down. After a momentary glance, the referee played advantage, which let Lee Griffiths interfeed Scott Sinclair, who smashed home for his second and Celtic's third of the night. The Scottish champions then smelled blood and added a fourth through the excellent combination play of Griffiths and Forrest, with a midfielder finishing a neat move. The striker then got in on the act, and despite his effort being given as an own goal, it was irrelevant to Griffiths, who ensured that this tie is all but dead when Rodgers men travel to Kazakhstan for Tuesday's return. If Celtic fans thought they were having a great week, it was about to get even better when the club announced that midfielder Stuart Armstrong had signed a new 2-year deal. The ink was barely dry on the contract when the breaking news started to filter through that Patrick Roberts will rejoin the club next week in a 1-year loan deal. By the time the Celtic fans travelled to Ayrshire for the lunchtime kick-off against Kilmarnock, they were in dreamland. Rodgers made 6 changes to the team that thumped Astana midweek, with 5 of the team graduating from the academy and an impressive 8 Scots in the squad. Youngsters like Miller and Ralston partnered Ajer and Tierney. Incredibly, Kieran Tierney was the oldest of the back four, becoming somewhat of a veteran at 20 years old. Goals either half from James Forrest and Callum McGregor, aided again by Tom Rogic, who was instrumental in the middle of the park, ensured that Brendan Rodgers is now 52 games unbeaten, with 48 wins under his belt. With the impending Champions League group stages to follow, a quarter-final against Dundee in the League Cup, and already opening up a 5-point gap on Rangers, Celtic fans must be wondering where Brendan Rodgers has been all their lives. By Gary Smith at Star 2, 1986.